Today I wanted to talk about the benefits of an electronic drum set. You might be asking yourself, why would I want to play an electronic drum set? And I don't blame you. When I started out and I was playing electronic kits, I thought the feel isn't right. It doesn't respond like drums, and they don't sound as good as drums. All these are valid points, and I'll talk to you about why they don't really matter. Number one, the whole point of an electronic drum kit is that it's quiet. If you're in an apartment or maybe your parents don't want to hear you practice, it's a huge benefit for you. They don't have to hear anything. It's completely silent or relatively close. You might hear the pads and the clicking, but you're not going to hear anything. So as a practice aid, electronic drum kit is very valuable for you as a drummer. The other big reason to have an electronic drum kit, if you can afford one, is for recording capabilities. The name of the game now, everybody's doing stuff with MIDI, everybody's doing stuff with drum plugins like SSD or EZDrummer or whatever, or battery, whatever you want to use. You can trigger all those programs with electronic drums. This is the Roland TD11. And back to the point about the feel of electronic drums, yeah, I mean, it's not anywhere close to real drums. The snare, they have these mesh kind of snare heads. Another big benefit to using electronic drums is the recording capabilities of them. If you have one of these kits, you can work on a session for a songwriter, say, across the world, get it done, send them the files. You can send them the WAV file 2-track with the drums completely done, and you can send them a MIDI file as well, just in case they want to change anything around or tweak anything. Obviously, I love live drums too, guys. I love them. I love recording. I love playing on them, but it's just not always an option in today's landscape. And if you want to be a pro, you're going to have to be aware of what all these tools can do for you. Don't be resistant to change. Just get one if you can. I highly recommend them. It's kind of like a piano player not having a keyboard at home. It's just not acceptable, So, yeah, let's just talk about some of the cool things you can do too. They're pretty sensitive too. These days, the Roland's pretty good. I'll show you guys some different rolls and stuff. So, yeah, they're really good these days. The other thing is just a practice aid. Being able to sit at home and plug in your iPod to one of these Roland Brains is really cool. I wish I would have had this when I was growing up, because I drove my family nuts playing drums in our basement. This would eliminate a lot of your family members hating you. So that's another benefit. The other thing is just, I play a lot, and it's really nice to be able to come home and voice certain things on the electronic drum kit that you just wouldn't do in a rehearsal space or your drum room. Believe me, guys, I've put in my time in drum rooms. Sometimes it's kind of confusing in a way. There's so much noise, there's so much bleed from everything, that it's kind of hard to really analyze what you're doing. And if you're trying to learn a fill, or maybe trying to learn a sticking pattern, or say you're trying to figure out paradiddles around the kit, right? You can go back and you can look and see how close you are on the MIDI. You can see, you know, how far you are off. It's really cool. You can also check your velocity and see how accurately you're hitting on your kicks compared to your snare, compared to your toms. There's a lot of information that you can get purely in the MIDI data alone. So I can go over that in another video. This is kind of just more of like a pros and cons to using electronic drums. Yeah, so the other thing is, you know, initially when I got an electronic drum kit, I thought to myself, wow, maybe I won't have to bring all my, you know, hundreds of pounds of hardware and drums and all that. But when you get down to it, you know, there's a lot that goes into setting up these drum kits. Every piece of a pad or a cymbal or a snare drum needs a 1/4 inch input that goes to the brain. So all that needs to be plugged in and unplugged, unless you could move this all as a unit. Then it might be good to use at a live show. You know, I think in terms of gigging, you know, electronic drums, probably not the best thing to use unless you're playing an orgy.